Well,
So what were we talking about?
we're talking about snakes. What's the name of that big lake in the middle of Florida?
Lake Okeechobee?
Okeechobee. And around that lake and a bunch of other lakes, there are a lot of Australian pine.
Uh-huh.
And in these Australian pine, there are yellow rat snakes. And I was down there hitchhiking with a hammock. And I got into all these snakes, and I caught a bunch of them. I guess I caught 9 of them. And then I hitchhiked back here to Amherst, and I got picked up by a baseball player who he was a pitcher, and he had a ball game in Jacksonville, and he drove like hell. And he let me off on the other side of Jacksonville. And then I got another ride with a guy that was going to Cape May, and he drove like a maniac all night long.
New Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I slept. And then I was on the Delaware Memorial Bridge, and I had Amherst, Mass, University of Mass, a little sign there, and the head of the forestry department, University of Massachusetts, came over and picked me up.
Oh,
Let
you
me
see?
off my door, and it took me just about 24 hours to get all the way back with those 9 snakes.
You had snakes in your backpack.
Yeah, and
From
his
Florida.
daughters, who were old, teenagers, they got a kick out of them. Because they were all snake people, I guess they were afraid of them. Yeah. I hitchhiked south with a cottonmouth in my pack once. I caught it when it was little down in Florida, and I kept it for something like 2 years, and it grew up with a great big cottonmouth. And I was going back to Florida, and I hitchhiked, and I carried it back, and I turned it loose, just about where I caught it, only it was bigger.
What do you feed those snakes?
Everything.
Rats?
Yeah.
You have to buy rats
frogs,
for them?
rats, fish, anything.
You have to
Other
buy rats
snakes,
for them?
anything.
Or you got to eat? Do you catch them, or do you have to buy them? how do you get the
Everything.
snake? Yeah. However you can get them.
Yeah. Fish being the easiest thing to get.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks.
Well, I was going to ask you one more thing while you're still...
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll just get over here for a second.
What? You were going to ask me? Or?
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I thought you might know. The tiny horses in Mexico that had 4 toes. Now, how long ago was that? When did that happen? Millions of years ago?
Yeah.
Is that
Not
where
back when
horses
the dinosaurs,
originated?
though, right?
So,
5 million? Or, I mean, how far back do you think it was?
when the horses first show up early Miocene,
Yeah.
what's that, 35 million years ago.
And where did they originate, the first horses?
Oh, I don't know,
I don't know for sure.
because they showed up in Europe pretty quickly afterwards.
But they were on the American continent, right?
Well, they figure it's American continent, and they did all their evolution here right up to horses. Through all those, like Mary Chippus and all those guys. And they kept getting bigger and bigger.
So how did they make it to Europe? Did they cross a land bridge or something?
Oringia.
How?
Oringia,
The land bridge.
yeah. They went from Russia to Alaska, or Alaska to Russia then.
Oh, from Palin's house to Putin's house.
Yeah, well, yeah. And there was a lot of it that went on back and forth.
A lot of back and forth on that,
Yeah.
spur of navigable ground.
They got a coyote fossil in Europe, and we got a dhole fossil in the United States. Dholes, like those colonial dogs in India, they're ferocious.
Uh-huh. There's a dhole was here in the United
Yeah,
States.
well, there was one, I guess.
There was one anyway.
Yeah. And the horses and everybody else are going back and forth, including small animals. Woodchucks go all the way into Russia.
The dogs one though, that could have been transported by people on boat. That wouldn't necessarily have had to come through the land bridge.
That's what they think happened in Australia with the dingo. But there are other ideas too.
What do they think happened with the dingo?
The people went to Australia, and brought their dogs with them.
Ah,
Yeah.
And then the dogs got very feral.
Um, but I don't think that people had to come by boat to Australia because,
I don't think they could walk.
well, I mean, this one has the. You see how shallow it is all the way out to here?
During glacial times, it would be different. So there'd be more land showing. But even then, there wasn't enough to walk across. There were some deep trenches in there that had to do some sailing. And you couldn't see the land from the land you were on. You had to get a boat and go over there. So all those people in Australia, I guess, got there by boat.
so how early do you think boat people are? When did people
So,
develop
When did that happen? I don't know.
seafaring
There are various
habits?
ideas on that other people who study it know. But they say way back.
Yeah.
So
Australia is supposed to be some of the first ones. They say the first ones to leave Africa were the Australians.
yeah.
So that had to have happened a long time ago. And people must have developed boats way before that. Before
They were Africans, and they left Africa with everybody else.
and they already had
And
boats
they
by
went to
then.
Asia.
But they already had boats by
They
then.
got
right?
down to the bottom to Asia, and then they went to Australia. And well, we went up to the glaciers.